What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got sort of a new format here. This is almost like a podcast. It's kind of an interview podcast type situation. And today we're going to be talking about coaching, how to become a coach, and all the obstacles you might face. And I'm hoping a lot of tips and tricks that will help you become a better coach. And like I said, this is sort of like a podcast. So sit back, relax, maybe make yourself something to eat. And I think it's going to be really interesting. Today, we have our special guest here. This is Joel. Joel is from London, at least he teaches in London at Overgravity Gymnastics. And I know he looks very young, but he's actually been teaching for over a decade. And he's an amazing coach. And I think we can learn a lot from him. This is very interesting for me as well, because obviously I want to become a coach, open my own gym. So I think there's a lot that I can learn from Joel, and hopefully you can too. So, Joel, thank you for being here.
Awesome, thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Could you give us just a brief introduction into how you got started with tricking? Because this interview obviously is more about coaching.
Yeah.
But I think just in a few sentences, like how you got into tricking, and then the story of how it evolved into what you are today.
Sure. So I guess I was one of those kids who was always like into sport. I did do gymnastics when I was really young. Did lots of running, played rugby. When I was a teenager, I did parkour. So I'd say that's probably my direct link into tricking.
Okay.
Because parkour, I was training all the time, all the flips, and then started to discover, oh, that's a B twist, oh, that's a cork, and those kind of things. And then the people who were showing me those moves, they obviously led me more directly into tricking. And then I met my martial arts coach and tricking coach back when from when I was a teenager. So that was in Birmingham. Obviously, I don't know if any of you guys, any of the guys who watch your channel know people like Sam Kojo and Alex Omidvar and those guys. Like, yeah, Birmingham obviously has quite a good history for tricking in the UK. Yeah, very fortunate to grow up with those guys. We trained a lot together. Yeah, and that was my route into tricking. A really, really nice route from, yeah, movement and flips, parkour, directly led me into tricking, I'd say.
Yeah, amazing. I think a lot of people got into tricking through other sports like parkour, because when you're just a kid, you're like, oh, I want to learn a backflip, and the only thing you know is parkour. That's kind of my origin story as well. Like I started doing parkour, and then you meet people who do tricking. You're like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
So that's how you got into tricking, and then how did you get into coaching?
My first step into coaching was through the coach that I mentioned in Birmingham. So he needed people to assist him with his work. He was going around to lots of different schools and martial arts schools around Birmingham and the surrounding area to show them tricking. So we would go to like a karate school. So so they do lots of do all their stances and punches and kicks. So they've got really, really nice foundation. But then we go and show them, hey, this is a tornado kick. Hey, you can turn this tornado kick into a cheat 7. And, because a lot of them, they might already know how to do like a spinning round kick. You'd be like, that's really cool. If you jump at this moment and add a little spin here, you can make that spinning round into a cheat 720. And this is a butterfly kick. And so, so we go around and teach all of these different people. So my first coaching experience was tricking. It was absolutely
super cool.
So absolutely tricking, yeah.
You guys were going around to schools. You didn't even have a dedicated gym. You were just going around to different places.
There were, at the time, it was before Nathan had set up his own gym. So he didn't have his own center, his own facility. He was teaching classes out of a martial arts studio. So there's a gymnastics and martial arts center. And he was running some classes there. He was doing XMA and tricking. And so I joined his classes doing the XMA, but then we would go around and teach tricking to other places. So so that might be like schools, a martial arts club. but lots of other different ones. But yeah, it wasn't out of his gym. It was traveling to lots of other places to go and teach them.
That's really interesting, because we are here at White Tricks Academy on the Isle of Wight, and Robbie started this academy, I think like 4 years ago or something. I'm not exactly
longer,
sure. Maybe even longer. But he's been teaching for even longer, and he started by going around to schools and meeting renting school halls, just going there with his airtrack and making his own classes without even having a gym, which I think is really inspirational and shows you that you can start without having your own gym in the beginning. And then, so you started tricking a while ago and also started coaching a while ago.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel imposter syndrome whilst coaching? Did you ever feel like, oh, maybe I'm not ready to teach all of these tricks?
Genuinely, I feel more of it now as an adult, which is weird, because now I have all the experience. And that's the thing about imposter syndrome, is that your imposter syndrome almost gets... The point of imposter syndrome is that you are experienced and that you do carry those accolades, and that you feel like, oh, maybe I'm not. Less so now. But back then, no, I didn't, because I was an assistant coach, so I felt very comfortable. I felt like I had really good guidance. Okay. I felt like I had someone who was the responsible one, who knew those skills, who was very, very comfortable with teaching. It was my job as an assistant to really try and replicate what my coach, what the main coach was giving to the students. So in that way, it was more of a learning environment for me as an assistant. Yes, I was teaching others, but it was also a learning environment. It was very 50-50. You know, I was taking a lot on. I was learning how to coach whilst coaching the other guys.
Okay, and now you're a head coach at Overgravity Gymnastics in London, which is a great gym, by the way. I've been there. Gym. Yeah. Maybe you've seen the video. I'll show some clips. So you're head coach now. That comes with a lot more responsibility. So maybe that's why you felt a little bit of imposter syndrome. Is there anything that maybe helps with getting over this imposter syndrome and dealing with all this responsibility?
It's a tough question, because that obviously comes a lot down to the individual. Like, some people will struggle with it and some people won't. So some people probably watching this would be like, what do you mean? Like, doubt myself? Never. And then some of you will be like, yeah, I really, really know what you mean. So yeah, I guess it really, really comes down to the individual. For me, I guess I always try and remind myself how positive other people are about what I do. So especially when I come down to White Tricks this weekend, it's really refreshing, or it's really fulfilling, very invigorating, like really gets me going. How many people down here really care about what I do, that they really see me as a figure of respect and someone who's a really capable tricker and teacher. I think it's reminding yourself of like what those, it could be your students, it could be your peers, but are saying to you to compliment you, because they're the ones who are getting a better picture all around, right? Like, your sense of self, like the view that you have of yourself can be quite warped because it's only you who's seeing it. But if you take the opinions of all those people, and I guarantee as a coach, you're going to be having people who are saying that you're doing so much for them, that you're doing such a great job of what you do. It could be one particular skill, or it could be your general style and your general support for them. But you'll do a lot for people, and remind yourself of that. Remember those things that people say to you and hold them close.
That's some amazing advice. Thank you. And then you've been teaching at Overgravity Gymnastics for 4 years now, right?
Yeah, this will be my 4th year there.
Exactly. So how did you get into Overgravity Gymnastics? And can you maybe also tell us about how you set up your training at Overgravity Gymnastics? Like, what kind of classes do you offer, and how do you structure it for like beginners and intermediates? Is there this kind of structure that would be interesting?
So teaching at Overgravity started, I started teaching 4 years ago, but realistically the foundation was laid when I first met Matteo, who is one of the co-founders of Overgravity. And I met Matteo 12 or 13 years ago, a very long time ago. And so then my friendship with him is what led me to working there. He knows me as a very reliable person, reliable tricker, good tricker, and someone who is a very, very capable coach already. Before I worked at Overgravity, I've been coaching before that point for different people, different for myself as like a self-employed person, other businesses, other companies as well. So he already knew me as a very reliable person, so I was stepping in there with a really, really good foundation. So that's how I first started working there. Started off with a few classes, and then that became so that when they were increasing in popularity, lots of people were attending the classes were full, like all the time. So we added more, and then the same thing happened. So we added more. And then now I'm a relatively full-time coach at Overgravity. Teaching. So I teach tricking. I teach tumbling. So tumbling would be all the gymnastic style flips that maybe we also use in tricking. So front flips and back handsprings, front handsprings, and then linking those into some nice passages. Tricking, tumbling. I teach handstands as well. Great conditioning exercise. And I also teach soft acrobatics. So flow acrobatics, things like helicopteros and those kind of movements, gumbies, but maybe more very back-bended gumbies, not the kind of ones that we use in tricking for like power. Macacos and helicopteros and those kind of moves as well.
Very cool. So a lot of variety.
A lot of variety.
He's had a lot of time in his career to assemble all these.
But
all these skills.
At Overgravity, we do have different levels as well. So that is something that you mentioned, like how do we incorporate all of these different levels? There is no way around it. It is a tricky part of coaching. One of the tricky parts of coaching, one of the more difficult parts of coaching is when you have a group environment, is how do you accommodate those levels? There is no one set formula for how you do that. But obviously, as the more a business grows, I guess the more it can make those accommodations by having classes with different levels for them.
Yeah, because the bigger the group, the easier it is to split it up into different groups.
Exactly, yeah.
But when you have like 40 students and like one of them can do dub and one of them can't even cartwheel, how do you split it up? You don't want to have like groups with 2 people. So
Yes.
What kind of structure do you have at the gym? Do you have like different groups determined by skill, or how does it work?
I think the best example at Overgravity in terms of that structure is the tumbling classes. We do from level 1 to level 3. So it's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. So there's 5 levels across tumbling. 3 being the hardest one that we teach. That could be teaching multiple linked tumbles to twists and multiple twists, and maybe people working up towards double somersaults, those kind of things, high level stuff. And then level 1 might be never done gymnastics before. Something I haven't mentioned actually up until this point is Overgravity, we concentrate, or we specialize, I guess, on adults. So we don't teach as many kids. So compared to a lot of places, such as White Tricks, for example, and I think generally around the world, a lot of classes are really focused on children, but London is a bit of a strange place. It's a bit of a strange city. There's a lot of young adults who live in London, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s. All of them want to try sports and new things, and at Overgravity we show them that you're not too old to want to learn a backflip. You would really be surprised at how many people I've taught things that have never done have no acrobatic background at all, and they can do backflips and all sorts of cool things.
Amazing.
Amazing things.
So was that like an active decision teaching adults, or did it kind of just happen? Do you know that?
Happened for Overgravity. It was an intention. There was a gap there. There was a real opportunity there. There were lots of adults, and I mean when we say adults, that could literally just mean 16 and above.
Yeah.
Like it could be a big range, but there's a lot of people there who really wanted to learn flips and tricking and all these other things, and just really wanted a good resource with good fun, nice coaches to learn that. And yeah, so over gravity, Matteo, if you speak to him about this, and he can tell you in as much depth as possible, but definitely was oriented around, let's teach adults and let's get them learning and let's give them something that they don't have currently.
Okay,
But for me,
amazing.
but for me, it was a bit organic. Like I've taught kids and I've done that for years, done that for a long time. Just the current period of where I'm at right now is I don't teach as many.
Yeah. And as we already said, we're here at White Tricks. And if you look at White Tricks is almost exclusively children and young teens, whereas Over Gravity, almost exclusively adults. So you have the big contrast here between Over Gravity and White Tricks.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting. And there's so much value here because now I can ask you what the difference is. And then I'm going to make an interview with Robbie as well. And I'm going to ask him what the difference is. And you can kind of decide if you want to teach children or adults, and what kind of direction you want to go into. Maybe you can teach both as well. But there's probably some big differences. So what are the main differences that you have noticed between teaching kids and teaching adults? Is there something that you really have to be careful of? Is there a big difference in how you design the training?
Kids, you have, when you're teaching kids, you have to be very good at controlling behavior. This is something that we have to deal with. When you are young, you are growing, your emotions and the chemicals within your body and your personality is growing and changing, and many things are happening. And behavior when you're teaching children is not as there as when you're teaching adults. When you're teaching adults, it's not very common that you need to tell people to stop running around the room, for example, and pay attention to what you're having to say. Generally, adults will pay attention to what you have to say. The opposite side of that is that when you're teaching adults is that they will need more time to learn, more rehearsal of the same move required. You need to have more patience in an individual sense. So rather than have patience in a group sense. So patience in a group sense would be, as I said, like, come on guys, we need to sort the behavior out here, or we need to make sure everyone's focused and that kind of thing, just rallying a group. But your individual patience might be someone who just really struggles with a certain skill a lot more, but they're very, very determined and really want to work hard at it, and you've got to be creative in how you help them get there. So yeah, different challenges, definitely different challenges. But I think it's worth saying that in terms of a business, in terms of a coach, if this is really what we're talking about, you've got to also follow your market. So your market might be depending on where you live, or it might depending on what you want to coach, right? So if we're talking about tricking, for example, tricking is very niche. We know this. We want it to grow, and everyone across the globe is really, really trying to make the sport grow. But while it's still in the process of growing, the pool of students that you might have compared to someone who, say, teaches running, okay? Your pool of students might be this, and someone who teaches running might have a pool like this, a massive amount of people that they can teach. So they can be a little bit more picky about what they want to teach. Whereas if you have a smaller pool of, or for example, if you say, okay, I only want to teach adults, or I only want to teach kids, that may be easier when you've got running as your sport. But if you've got like a niche sport, you might, as you say, you want to teach both. You might have to diversify. You might have to teach things related to that skill, but so, for example, flexibility and strength and those kind of things that supplement the way that are really complementary to tricking, that really enhance tricking, but it's not necessarily like that. That doesn't mean that you're going to be teaching TD rays and backflips 100% of your coaching time. So yeah, it's important to think of all those options as a coach.
Okay,
it's very important
amazing.
to think of those options.
I'm very grateful that you kind of went into the direction of business, because obviously running a coaching business
Yeah.
is a business.
It's a
after
business,
all.
yeah, for sure.
And because unless you're blessed to just have a lot of money, you can't have a business that doesn't make any profit. So you have to bring in money as well. You have to have enough customers to bear all the costs, because there are a lot of costs involved, of course, in running a gym. And you're not running the business at Overgravity Gymnastics, but you're very involved in everything.
Yeah.
So could you maybe tell us about how you think the marketing may be different that you do for Overgravity when you're marketing towards adults versus kids? And then also just in general, how you market the classes, because I think you're not really marketing it as tricking, because tricking is not known. I think marketing a tricking coaching business as just tricking is going to make your business like go down, because pretty much nobody knows of tricking, but people know of flips. And when they get to know tricking, that's when they want to do tricking.
Absolutely.
But if you just say you're doing tricking courses, I don't think you're going to get as many people signing up as if you market it as something else. So could you maybe touch on how you market your classes?
Absolutely. So I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's like you want to really draw people in, and you might use terms like flipping. And because in an overall sense, that is what draws us all in. Like there is a sharing across communities of people who use trampoline, like freestyle gymnastics and parkour, free running and tricking. There is some cohesion between all these groups. Like there is a sense of all wanting the same thing, this thrill, this amazing in the air acrobatic experience that we're after. So I think what we talked about earlier in terms of the schools, the way that I used to market with my coach was going into schools and actually just physically putting yourself in the building and showing them what tricking is, and then going, do you want to come and learn it? We'll do some classes here. That's one way, and I think with kids, I still think it's very effective. I think if you can literally put the activity in front of them and it's enough to entice a small group, I think the natural addictiveness, the natural thing that draws us all into tricking starts to take effect, or will start to take effect. For adults, it is very different. You can't go to a school for adults and show a tricking demonstration. I can't go to a big office in the middle of central London and go, hey guys, this is a TDR. You want to learn it? I don't think it'll work. But there is a big thing for like an adult. Maybe they're like, oh, I've always wanted to learn a backflip. Let me try a backflip. Oh, I can learn a backflip. I can go to this place. Or I've always wanted to try a handstand. Or I've wanted to get into martial arts. There are lots of other ways that people get drawn in and eventually find tricking, right? Because that's exactly what happened with me. You said the same through parkour. You didn't just go tricking, let me start doing that. We find our own way. And that's the kind of thing that we're also doing there, is that we get people to start doing tumbling because they think about backflips and stuff, and then they see tricking. They're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. That thing, oh, what was that thing? Is that, what's this class called? Can you, what time is it? Can you do beginner? Yeah. And then they start to really, really get into it. So we went from maybe a few years ago having like one tricking class, or I don't know, when I first started there may have been like one or two tricking classes, whereas now there's multiples. We've got different levels of tricking, and some students are like working on double twists, and they are people who have started as adults and have never done a flip before the age of 16, some of them. And they're working on double twists, this kind of thing. So really, 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 really impressive to see how people progress, but how much we can start to bring more people into tricking and go, this is what tricking is. Because we show them their flips, the things that they want to learn in the first place, and then they eventually come to find something new too.
Yeah, so you bring them in through something else, through other keywords like gymnastics or flipping, parkour, martial arts. and then they see tricking and they start finding interested in it as well. Because I think something that's a good way to get people into tricking is also gymnastics. I mean, it's called over-gravity gymnastics. And I feel like a lot of people want to learn gymnastics because they think it's cool. But with gymnastics, it's usually very strict. So gymnastics, it's like there's this perfect form and you have to master everything and you can't be creative. There's these tricks that you have to learn. They have to be perfect. And whereas tricking is way more about creativity and expressing yourself and trying new movements. So I think that is very attractive to a lot of people. They just don't know it exists. So maybe using gymnastics, parkour, martial arts, flipping, something like that to bring people in is actually a great idea. And that's what they've been doing. One thing that I have thought about doing is just going in public, doing flips, and then having a website for people to go to, and then where they can sign up for a waiting list before even starting a gym. Because then you have it's not guaranteed, of course. Like if you have 100 people sign up to the waiting list, maybe 50 are even gonna show up and see if it's worth it for them. Probably even less. But if you can at least find out if there's interest before you start a gym, that'll be a huge.
I think you could combine the two ideas of going into school, showing them a tricking performance of some sort, maybe you and a friend, some tricks, show them that, and then gather and see if you can get people from the schools to join a waitlist. You could say that we might be offering classes, or we're trying to set up a gym in the area, or we're thinking of offering some classes. If anyone's interested, we're going to set up a wait list, and if there's enough interest, we can get things started. Could probably combine those two.
Yeah. And then, because something that's really interesting is every time you flip or trick in public, people will be like, whoa. They'll look at you, they'll try to talk to you. They'll be like, what's this? I've never seen this before. Are you doing gymnastics? Is this parkour? And then you explain to the people what it is. And for me, it's always been the case that I've had to be like, I'm so sorry, you kind of have to teach yourself. Because there is no tricking gym where I'm at. And I'll be honest, there aren't amazing parkour classes as well. I just kind of had to teach myself. And it's still the case in my city. So I feel like there is a lot of interest, but people just don't know it exists. And so you've done like in-person marketing, more or less, but then your Instagram is pretty strong as well.
So the overgravity one. The overgravity Instagram is really strong. So again, that's the side of the business that I'm not involved in. I don't know the mechanics and the specifics of it. But I know that the guys really use social media marketing in terms of like advertisements. Also that they have someone within the business who makes the content to be posting stuff every day. So a social media manager. Obviously, that's the business is large for them, or larger than a lot of schools are going to be if you're setting up in your first couple of years. So you're not going to be going, okay, I set up a school, 3 months down the line, I need to hire a social media manager. But yes, very important. Yes. Social media.
So do you know if you do Facebook ads and Instagram ads, like paid ads as well?
Instagram ads, definitely. Paid ads, definitely. Not sure about Facebook. But I know students who have come to the class who have gone, oh, I got sent an ad and now I'm here.
Okay, so that's very interesting.
So literally
as well.
like in pay for advert gets to person comes to class, like direct loop from advert. So, there are cases where it is as effective. And that's not one person, that's a couple, a handful, I'm not sure.
So that's some very useful information because Instagram and Facebook ads, you can really target them pretty well. So you can have a very specific target demographic. You can have keywords. So, and it's not that expensive to do ads. So I think if you really try to learn a little bit about how to market, how to make videos, and then you spend some money on advertising, it's probably a great idea.
Absolutely, I think so. Another friend of mine has set up a gym in Spain, in Seville, and they are also doing that, taking that angle of we're going to teach tricking and gymnastics. So that hybrid of like bringing people in with things that they already know, and then trying to and then expanding that onto things that people don't know. They're teaching adults and they're teaching kids. So they've got kids tricking and adults tricking, adults gymnastics, kids gymnastics, they've got both. But they have really pushed social media, because they've set up a gym in their city where there is no current competition. So that there's not other gyms trying to do the same thing. There is an absence of this in the area. So it's really get the message out, get the message out, get the message out. Use the social media to get that message of there is now this new thing in your area. Come and try, come and give it a go. So they've really been pushing it. And then I think that, I'm not sure whether it was from their social media or just disconnected, but then a local TV news source got in touch with them and did an interview with them and filmed some classes, and that really boosted their popularity. So the market, promote.
Get the word out there.
Media, everything. Just do it. As well as the coaching, do it. Yeah.
I think what you mentioned there with the local news and TV and whatever, you can just reach out to your local newspaper and TV show, whatever, because they're always searching for stories.
Yeah.
Especially if it's local, like you're probably not gonna get into like the big TV shows or whatever, but like local news, they're always searching for stories, and they're more than welcome to make something. And the worst thing they can say is no. So I think reaching out to something like that is a great idea.
If it is the case that what you're here for is you're thinking of starting a new gym, or you've recently started your space. These are all the kind of things that have definitely worked for my friends, businesses that I work for, and just good friends who are trying to repeat that process. Is that marketing process is important. Bash it out, get as much of it done, let everyone know. Don't be afraid to stand on the roof and shout the name of your gym, because people will come. And that's the thing, it's like what we do, the thing that we teach, the sport that we have is so precious and it's so amazing. The difficult thing that we have is just getting people to know what it is and to put their foot in the door.
Amazing. Yes. I think we've covered the business and marketing side pretty well so far. So my question would be, let's say I'm a student and I come to you, I say, Joel, I've never done anything before. I've never done a cartwheel, a round-off, a handstand, but I want to get into tricking.
Yeah.
What would you say to me? Where would you start me off? And what would your plan be for me over the next months, maybe years, if I was to stick to tricking?
I would definitely still be teaching you your handstands, your cartwheels, your forward rolls, your backward rolls. They would definitely be included. But I wouldn't let that be I wouldn't then go, right, okay, so we need to do that for a month before we can start tricking. Absolutely not. I would incorporate a number of moves within the categories of kicks, flips, and twists. Let's say not even twists, let's say ground moves, scoots and compassos, a selection of those moves, and I would have this person train those until they were at 9 out of 10 comfortability before we then start to then think about those progressions. So I might be thinking round kicks, hook kicks, and inside crescents, outside crescents, compasso and scoots, some groundwork, machine, those kind of moves. A cartwheel, include that as groundwork, a butterfly kick, working up towards a dive roll, maybe a front tuck. we'll see. I think also, even if someone has no acrobatic background, maybe they have a sporting background. Maybe they've done a lot of running or weightlifting. I've had a person in my class before who'd never done a forward roll or had never tried a backflip. They may have done a forward roll on the floor kind of accidentally, but they've never intentionally gone out to learn a flip. But he learned a backflip in about 45 minutes from no background other than weightlifting. But that motion of like picking up a heavy weight from the floor and launching it up really high to the shoulders, all of the strength and energy and coordination and body control to do all of those things just set him up so perfectly. And he was doing it on the floor after 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so it's a very hard question to say to me, hey, I've never had any experience before. What do you think I'm going to learn in 6 months? You know, that's if someone did come and ask me that question, I'd say to them, I can't really answer that. But I would not obviously say it just like that and then walk away. I'd then just have a conversation with them and say that learning is definitely a journey, and everyone learns at a different rate. Some people learn like this, some people learn like this, some people learn like this. You know, everyone is very, very different. But I would definitely, in this case, and that's always my format for training, is that we have to take it almost in steps. You know, we have to make sure that we hit the right foundations that lead us on to the next ones. You know, there's no point. The old expression, you got to learn to walk before you run. We can just translate that to our tricking training as well. There's no point teaching someone a 540 if they can't tornado kick. It's very simple.
Yes, right? Having good foundations is always very important, simple. Especially when it comes to flips and twists.
For example, like if someone is very unconfident with jumping up and down, right? It's not safe for them to be learning a backflip. Let's be honest. Like we need to, sometimes we might need to start with foundational strength like that. Some box jumps and those kind of things, so that people build up that strength and build up that ability to jump before we're trying to encourage them to do things like flips, because that might be the starting point. Right, that might be the foundation that they need to work on. But yeah, it's important to just really look at all of that spectrum of things. It's like, it doesn't matter whether someone comes from no experience, because whatever journey they're going to go on to learn is going to be amazing for them.
Yeah.
So they're going to have an amazing experience, and they're going to progress so much no matter what. It's just making sure that you do it at the right pace for that person, doing it at the right speed for that person.
And then one thing that would be very interesting to me is, how do you keep people motivated, especially with something like tricking? Because in tricking, there's a lot of moves that are easy to learn, and those are usually the moves that you start with. Yeah. But they're not cool unless you've been doing them for years and you've perfected them. Like, I could teach my mom how to scoot, but it would never look good unless she put in reps, like hundreds of reps, thousands of reps. I've got spam dubs tattooed here, because to get good at something, you need to spam the shit out of it.
Reps.
You need to do reps. So how do you keep people motivated at the start when they feel like, maybe they feel like everything they do is just a lot of work and nothing cool comes of it? How do you maybe have them feel like they've done something cool?
I think with tricking, the best tool that we have is to get people learning combos straight away. Get people not just doing single movement tricks, is to get them to link their things together. They start to see the purpose of it, and then they also start to get the feeling of tricking. And I think that's something that we really underestimate, is that yes, tricking is constructed of individual tricks, but the feeling of putting them together is something quite different. And if you can take, I can do it right now. I can do a back sweep. I can do a cartwheel. I can do a really basic little butterfly kick. Okay, but even that, I can take those simple three things and I can start to link stuff together.
Yeah.
And that's a satisfying feeling, no matter the complexity of the tricks that you're doing. For those people, anyway, as you said, like, we might get bored doing a scoop, but if you're just learning it, that combination is interesting, exciting, and keeps people latched on. You know, so in terms of like within a class, like how do I take simple moves and how do I make sure that they're still entertaining? Combos, put interesting links together, things that we wouldn't actually see in like competitions, or we wouldn't really see in like our sports. Maybe like a butterfly kick followed by another butterfly kick. We'd be like, maybe I wouldn't really want to use that. But actually in your class of people who don't really know much about tricking, or it's their first experience, or they're within their first few months, they're going to find that interesting still. So don't come in with too many preconceived ideas of what is interesting. Based on your experience, really try and sit in a beginner perspective when you're thinking of stuff like that. But in terms of like the long-term coaching, so like how do I take a student who, you know, maybe struggling with progress on a certain movement, and how do I keep them motivated even though it might feel like months of work and not making much progress? Again, it's an individual thing, isn't it? It's like no one person is the same. As we discussed, learning paths are all different, so therefore people getting stuck will be different, and then their response to it will be different. One thing is videos. Film footage is the greatest tool that we have to our training. Like we've already discussed, I'm a little bit older, that we didn't have as much access for video recordings. When I was doing parkour before I started tricking, I remember buying a very like small digital camera so that I could like record videos of stuff so that I could start like watching my clips back. But because the memory card was so small, I just constantly have to delete videos. And so I never had a collection of videos of training. It was just record it. that was really cool. But I want to do something new. I've got to delete this old video. We don't have the issue anymore so much. Record everything. If you're coaching, record your clients, because then you can go, look at what you were doing 1 month ago. Or you can go to your student, you can go, this was you 1 month ago. Do you really think you're not progressing? Look at that, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's some amazing advice to record your students as a coach. Yeah. And also if you're a student, or if you're not even a student, if you're just teaching yourself, record yourself.
Record
all the time. Every time I see somebody starting out with tricking, I tell them, record yourself.
Yeah.
Every single session. Whatever you're trying, if you're trying something new, pick your phone up, put it down somewhere, get a good angle, film yourself. Ideally in slow motion, and analyze your clips. See what you might be doing wrong. I use it in my coaching as well. I had a one-on-one yesterday, and I took a slow-mo video of my client. I scrubbed through it, and I was able to show him exactly where his arm was going, and then I showed him where it was supposed to go.
Yes.
And that made a huge difference.
This is so critical, especially for tricking. Things that you're going to be teaching are going to be much more complicated. You know, you might be able to say with a bat flip, you might even be able to get like a text explanation for how to improve your bat flip, because realistically it's not that complex a movement. Jump high, arch, hips, chest, etc., tuck really tight. But if I'm saying to someone, right, when you're doing when you're going for a shuriken, as you're swinging up, you're starting to look up at the right position, but then as you start to look up, you turn your head too quickly and pull your chin in too tight, so you're not actually looking at your spot. Those are very, very difficult things to do via verbal explanation. But if you can literally just go, right, at this point in the video, here, this is your issue. Look at yourself. Look at this image of yourself. Look at the way that this is then affecting the movement afterwards. Here's a video of someone doing it and not doing that thing, and then look at how excellent they do the move. It's such a valuable tool. Yeah. So valuable. So yeah, as a resource, literally to improve your coaching in the moment and long term, so valuable.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people also have no idea what they're doing in the air, especially if you're doing a backflip for the first time. You don't think of anything. You're just in the air, you're like, whoa, what's happening? So and even I, like, I've been tricking for like 6-7 years, doing movement for 6-7 years, and still, like, I'll take a video of myself doing something and I was like, I had no idea that my head was going there. I had no idea that my arms are going here. I thought they were going there. And then you take a look at that video and you're like, oh, I should fix this.
Yes.
And so if you've been doing this for years and that's still an issue, think about how beginners must feel. When they do a trick, they've got nothing on their mind except, where's the floor? I hope I don't land on my head. So they have no idea whether they're throwing their arms, where their hips are going, what position their legs are in.
Yeah.
So I think recording yourself and your students is an incredible tool. And that's a great tip from Joel.
Absolutely. It's an incredible tool, but linking back also to what you said about how do I motivate, it's also a motivational tool.
Yes.
It's an educational tool, but it's also a motivational tool. Because in that example of someone's been like really trying something for a long time and they feel like they're not making progress, let's say what's happened is they've been training it for 2 months and they've done 2 sessions a week. So it's 8 weeks, 2 sessions a week, and each one is 1% improved. That's 16% improvement over 2 months, okay? Because they're only looking back at each session, they're only noticing 1% of improvement. You're able to look at it as a coach and go, I recognized you here 2 months ago, I'm looking at you now. I can look back at that 2 month ago window and go, wow, I can see that 16% improvement.
Right, and you can show them.
And you can show them that 16% improvement. Exactly.
That's amazing.
Instead of just having to say it and just go, believe me, trust me, you can go, look, here you were 2 months ago. Look how much you were struggling. And look at you now. You're smashing it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And also what he said with the combos and the basic beginner moves, I think one of the most inspiring things in tricking, one of the things that really get you hooked is accomplishing something, unlocking something, doing something you've never done before.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't get it first try, when you don't get it third try, when you don't get it on the 10th try, when you've been trying for maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 tries, and then you finally land a new trick. That's like the most inspiring feeling ever. And it doesn't matter what trick it is.
No.
It could be your first makaku, it could be your first scoot, it could be the basic combo. Back sweep to what did
cartwheel and B kick.
Yeah, back sweep, cartwheel, B kick. Super simple combo. You could teach that to pretty much anybody who's got a fit body. And who's like somewhat comfortable with their movement and their body. And they will feel so good when they tried a few times and didn't get it. And then maybe on the 10th try, they finally get it. And that's gonna really get them hooked. Yeah. And that's like one of the most beautiful feelings ever.
You're really right about that. There is a certain superior satisfaction for when you've had to work hard on the combo. It didn't just come straight away. You know, there are collections of tricks that everyone. I'm going to say everyone. I'm sure there are like pros and stuff who really don't struggle to learn tricks as much as other people, and that's why they're pros. You know, but every tricker will have nemesis tricks. They'll have tricks that are just like, oh, I really want to do this trick. I really want to do it, but I'm just struggling to learn it. It's just my nemesis. I really want it. I really want it. But when you do get it, and then when you do cross that line, it will be the greatest feeling ever. Nothing beats it. Nothing can match that.
He's not exaggerating. It truly is that amazing. Like, I got a tattoo on my leg here for dub because I broke my leg on the way to dub. I bruised my knee joint on the way to dub. And then finally, after like a year of chasing it, I finally got it. And it's like the most amazing feeling ever. You can't imagine. So, yeah.
That's it. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah. So
and anyone out there who's still chasing your dub, it's the best. You will get this. We are here for you.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh, nothing beats a good dub.
So nice.
So nice.
It's nice to do another one last night.
Oh,
was good.
hell yeah.
Yeah, felt
Good
good.
to hear that.
Felt good.
Yeah. So I think we covered the coaching side
Cool.
pretty well with the motivation and everything. Maybe is there something that you wish you would have done differently, you would have done earlier, would have done later, something else you would have done instead in your coaching journey?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think specific to my coaching. I don't think I would massively change anything, because I'm quite a big believer in, like, if you say you go and change something in the past, you don't necessarily know you're going to be at the same point where you are right now. Like the butterfly effect kind of thing.
Exactly.
So I don't know if I say, like, I could have gone and done that thing in the past, that might have not actually changed my route. Like, I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. I've arrived in a very, very good place in life where I absorb so much. Tricking is such a huge part of my life, and I'm so happy that, because I love it to bits. But also, I'm really, really into other sports. I'm a really keen runner, cyclist, and I do tumbling and soft acrobatics. There's other things that I teach as well. I'm really passionate about those. Plus all the other areas of my life, and I don't know whether if I'd have done anything differently, I'd be here where I'm at right now. So in quite a philosophical way, I'm going to say no, I wouldn't change anything. In terms of directly coaching, I guess the only things that I'd say, if I could go back to, like, when I was a kid and just be like, take all of my experience of what I know now and just be like, just do this but a little bit better, do that but like a little bit better, do, like, it'd be wicked if you had a martial arts belt, you know, because I did lots of martial arts, but I was always so, I want to try that, want to try that, want to try this as well. I never really settled into one. So, like, instead of having a yellow belt in 4 martial arts, it'd be really sweet if I just had a brown in 1.
Yeah. But then you wouldn't have this hindsight of being like, now I know better.
Exactly.
So you always learn from your mistakes.
And also, I never know that if I'd have really stuck with that, I might have never found free running. I might have never found tricking. So this is what I mean. It's really hard to say, would you have done that differently? Because you don't really know whether you'd end up in the same place. But in a general sense, I'd say no. I'm really, really content with the way that I started coaching. I love that it came really organically. I love that it came in combination with, like, me learning something. So it's very circular. I was teaching and learning at the same time. My coach, Nathan Salmon of UTX in Birmingham, by the way, amazing guy, coach, human being, great person to meet and chat with if you ever get the chance. So learning from him and starting off that journey with him was amazing. So I coached when I lived in Birmingham. Then I went to university for a few years to study, which some of you may also go and do. That meant I trained less over that time, and didn't coach over that time. After that, I went and worked in a job that was not related to tricking, and after 2 years, I stopped that and then made my whole life about tricking. So I had a period of time in the middle where, let's say, if I am going to change anything, it'd be that. I would love to take those years that were not entirely focused on tricking and be able to make them focus on tricking. I'd say that's the only thing I could change.
Okay, so just embrace the journey.
Embrace the journey
whatever
even more.
happens, just embrace it.
Yeah,
amazing.
Embrace it.
And if there's maybe just a little piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's looking to start tricking coaching, is there maybe a little something you can say to them?
Learn from the best around you. Really try and really try and learn from the others around you. We as we know, we've discussed a lot, our sport is very new, it's very fresh. We're discovering new ways of bringing it to other people. And with that comes an overall lack of globally tricking coaches. Yeah, we have already discussed, you've taught yourself. Like, that's how you got into it, was by teaching yourself and teaching yourself online. For me, again, I had coaches, but a lot of the resources that we went to progress amongst us was from online, people watching videos, and that's how we made progression too. And now we're trying to change that. So the ones who are currently doing it well have obviously figured something out, right? If we look at If we look at White Tricks, amazing example. But if we look around the world, we look to Japan, some amazing schools, China and Sweden, and America, in the UK, my gym, White Tricks. I think I already said them, but anyway. There are great examples. Look to your leaders. Look up to the people that are currently coaching. Try and take as much from them as you can. I'd say even like message people and say, could I come and just like sit and watch how you coach for a day? Take loads of notes. Like if you want to, I think if you're starting out coaching, the how do you structure your class? Like how much time do I give to the warm up? How much time should I be doing like stretching or cooling down? Should it be, if it's an hour class, should it be like 5-minute warm up, 5-minute cool down, and then 50 minutes of blah, 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 intense, crazy tricks? And no, it shouldn't actually be really, for beginners at least anyway, because they'll be like, I'm scared, I don't know what's going on. I've done 400 scoots in the past 20 minutes, and it's too much. But yeah, so really, the structure and stuff is really just try and borrow and absorb and learn from other people in the exact same way I started. I started learning from other people. Don't think that you need to just go out there into the world and just like create it from scratch. Everything we do is from the support of other people, you know. So find that support. If you don't have it locally, message people online. If you don't have, if you're not sure of any of those things, like this series, I imagine, or these podcasts and stuff are going to give you some really good insights. I'm sure I was going to drop my Instagram. Feel free to message me. Over Gravity, he's mentioned a lot. They have an Instagram as well. Yeah, the community will guide you. You'll get some great guidance from the community. Yeah, and think once you get the structural things in your head, so how you want to structure your classes, like that thing, cool downs and warm ups, and time for just like a little break, and time for a moment where you just do speaking and giving information so that your students rest, and then give time where your students can just do repetition so that they have time to just go. Once you build your structure and you find things that work for you, the rest of the things come really easily. The talking to the students and the relationships and having fun and enjoying yourself come really, really easily once you have a bit of structure.
Yes, amazing. And on that note, like he said, the tricking community is amazing. Everybody's so open. Literally, just your favorite trickers, your favorite gym owners, just message them. I promise you, a lot of them will reply. A lot of them will be very helpful. A lot of them will be happy to help. Yeah. The tricking community is not a competitive space. It's a big community and everybody's trying to help each other. And also on that note, this video is not behind a paywall. We're not really getting paid to do all of this. I don't imagine this is going to go viral because it's very, very niche. But I just hope that this helps somebody. But like I mentioned, it's not behind the paywall. And I never wanted to be behind the paywall. I want to provide this for free. And that also means that the guests here, they're not getting paid. And we can't take it for granted that people like Joel just take so much of their time and knowledge and give it out for free. So big thank you to Joel. And I'll put his Instagram in the description. I'll put Over Gravity in the description as well. So if you want to go and have a session with Joel, I'm sure you'll do one-on-one coaching. You'll have big sessions. And he's an amazing coach. From what you've heard, I'm sure you know he's going to be an amazing coach as well. And also thank you to White Tricks for having us here. Yeah. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe.
Yeah, make sure if you're not already subscribe, follow, smash the like button, etc., etc. Do all of those things. I guess if one day I ever decide to make a YouTube, I'll do another interview with Noah and he can promote it then. But yeah, thanks so much. It's been a real pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
To the channel.
Retirement.
Just for this.
Yeah. Any last words, Bowie?
Subscribe to Noah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
If you Noah what's up, you'll subscribe.
We can't end on that. I guess we can.
That was
Thank
good.
you so much, man.
Dude, that was really fun. That was really
so
nice.
fun.